Welcome to the Mount Pleasant Podcast, featuring discussions and interviews about the people, places, and events that make Mount Pleasant such a special place.
This is the Mount Pleasant Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Cleary, and all thanks to the great people of Mount Pleasant Magazine, I get the honor, the privilege of introducing you to Mount Pleasant, the people who make it such a special place to do business, to work, and even to live. We're introducing you to Mount Pleasant's best on the Mount Pleasant Podcast. Such a great time if you're a soccer fan. Think about it. Last fall, the Men's World Cup. This summer in Australia, it'll be the Women's World Cup. And this spring, summer, and into the fall, a full season of Charleston Battery Soccer at Pariots Point. So we're talking soccer today on the Mount Pleasant Podcast. I'm Brian Cleary, joined by the new club president of your Charleston Battery. We say hello to Lee Cohen. Lee, welcome to the Mount Pleasant Podcast.
Welcome to you as well. Glad to be here. At some point, the new will wear off, so I'll take advantage of it while I can.
Well, I'm going to say new. You actually joined the Battery late last fall, so you were around for a couple of matches. And for folks who don't know your background, big soccer background, you spent more than a decade in Tampa Bay with the Rowdies. Can you tell me a little bit about what was the appeal of leaving Tampa and coming to Charleston?
Who was that? I don't know the Rowdies anymore. They're old news. Gone, dusted. Listen, I got to know Rob very well over the course of our tenure together in the USL Championship. And when this opportunity came up after taking some time away from the Rowdies, it was too good to pass up. It's a beautiful city. Let's start off with saying that first. And it's a historic club that is got a lot of upside that's already been built into it, and there's just a long history that his club has really been so integral in American soccer for such a long time. And the upside that this club has now and the trajectory it's going, it just made it very, very exciting for me to see it as an opportunity to move my family to Mount Pleasant and to be the new president of the Charleston Battery.
So you mentioned the history of the Charleston Battery, and I think the club's been here since 1993. There's some people in the Low Country, particularly those who have moved from Ohio or whatever to come here, that don't understand what a rich history this club has, not just with the USL, but for being around since 1993. With that, for your position, any pressure come along with it? It's been 2012 since we've won a championship.
Wow, just put me on the spot right from the beginning.
That's right.
I love it. There's always pressure in the sports world, whether you've been around for 1 year, you've been around for 30 years, right? The expectations that each community has is that teams will be successful, teams will be competing for playoffs and have the chance to have a championship trophy held above their heads every single year. And so I would say that the pressure is upon us every single year, whether we put it upon ourselves or it comes from our fans, it's there, right? We understand the importance that winning has on everybody's side of things. The more we win, the more national exposure we get. The more national exposure we get, the better it showcases and highlights the Low Country.
So Lee, as club president, a couple of quick questions about that. Do people have to refer to you as El Presidente, Mr. President around the Battery office? And what does that mean for you? What is your role with the club?
Yeah, so El Presidente hasn't come out yet. Mr. President hasn't come out yet. Usually it's Hey Lee. So that's kind of the one that's stuck a little bit. No, my job as club president is really to, I would just say, motivate our staff every single day. We have such a great group of individuals that are in the front office that are eager for success. And what does success look like? It's each individual person has their own interpretation of it. But to us as a group, success looks like a sold-out stadium, week in and week out, a team that they can be proud of on the field. Doesn't have to win every single game, but we got to be competitive. We got to be entertaining, and we got to be able to call our number at the end of the year and say, do we have a chance to make the playoffs? And so as club president, I've got to kind of try and herd all that together, oversee the sporting side, oversee the business side. But to me, I'm only as good as the crew that we have around us, and it's not just me. It's every individual in this office that's going to make this successful.
Podcasting has exploded in popularity, especially local podcasts. As of 2022, 62% of Americans have listened to a podcast. 38% have listened in the last month. 26% in the last week. The podcasting audience is booming with no signs of slowing down. Call the podcast hotline to be featured on these podcasts or to receive information about podcast marketing. Call 843-530-0403 or visit carolinapodcasts.com.
You're listening to the Mount Pleasant Podcast.
This is where the pages of Mount Pleasant Magazine come alive. Thanks for joining us on the Mount Pleasant Podcast. I'm Brian Cleary, joined by the club president of your Charleston Battery, Lee Cohen, is with us. So, Lee, you came at the end of last season. In the off season, there's been some things happening at Patriots Point in terms of the stadium and stuff. We are looking forward to a great year of Battery Soccer. Tell me about some of the new things that fans are going to experience when they come out to cheer on the Battery.
Yeah, I would love to say I'll just keep it a secret until March 11th and make everyone have to come out. That would not be fair. That would definitely not be fair. No, listen, you asked me earlier in the interview, what attracted me to come to Charleston. And as I said, Rob and his entire family ownership group, not only what they're doing in basically the community, but what they're doing right here at Patriots Point. There's been such an investment that they've made this offseason on bringing in more hospitality spaces into Patriots Point, more seating structure behind one of the goals, and just an overall enhancement to the entertainment value. It's when I came to a few games last year, and for those that have been here before, you couldn't hear a thing that was said over the PA. And I'm an entertainer. And for me, we want this place rocking with sound and audio and excitement and energy. And we've got a brand new state-of-the-art sound system that's going into this building as well, too. So it is going to be a rocking venue a bunch of times this year. I'm not going to say 17 because we expect to be playing more than 17 home games in 2023. But it's going to be something very, very different. You get out here on March 11th, and you're going to see it right in front of your face.
And the schedule really lining up favorably with the Battery. I'm sure you and the league worked it out that way. Almost every home game is going to be on a Friday, a Saturday night. And for people who, I just need to be honest, I'm a soccer geek. I'll wake up Saturday morning, watch English Premier League. I love the game itself. You've got fans that love the game. But one of the things I love about the Battery is that even for a non-diehard soccer fan, you guys bring a lot of fun. And it's a reason why non-soccer fans can come and enjoy the game as well as Battery huge fans.
Yeah, I always say the USL Championship is so unique. There's something for everybody. So if you want to come into the stadium and you're a family, there's pregame experiences that your kids can partake in, whether that's on the field, whether it's being a ball kid, whether it's being part of a high five or a dream team. And then post game, the autographs are absolutely fantastic for them. If you don't have a kid or a family and you want to come and experience the food culture that exists within Charleston, we have all different options, whether it's through our partners. There's great food trucks that are inside the stadium every single night. And it's a great social atmosphere. The one thing that I would say that this community has really rallied around over the last couple of years is this environment that they can come to Patriots Point, have a great night out. And now it's our job to make it a great night out, plus watch winning football.
So, Lee, you mentioned the word family, if you don't mind. Can you give us a little background and tell us about you? Where did you grow up? What's your family situation right now?
So grew up in the east coast of Florida, Cocoa Beach. Went to school in the northeastern part of Florida, the Jacksonville area, Flagler College, and then spent my adult life in Tampa. And now I'm in Charleston. So I'm very lucky. I've gone from one coast to one coast to one coast, and I've enjoyed being on the water the whole entire time. And so it was very important for me, my wife, and our two children to be in another city that had water. And so, again, another thing of what attracted me to Charleston was the ability to have a great family opportunity. So I have two little girls that are 9 and 5. And I think they own the stadium already. So that'll be quite interesting on opening night when they're pointing around things to do. and people to see. But they're loving Charleston right now as well.
So have you had the opportunity, because I know you kind of got here late last year, have you been to a beach? Is it Isle of Palms, Sullivan's Island, Folly? Where do you think you'll be heading the most?
So we've been to Isle of Palms. It was definitely beautiful. The girls, coming from Tampa, the water is very, very different. It's like bath water, I would say 10 months out of the year. But it was nice for them growing up on the East Coast of Florida, very, very similar. And so our girls, when they got here and got to go play, they put wetsuits on in November, and were
wow.
They were way braver than I was. I stood on the shoreline and definitely waved like, you're going too far, come back in. But they're enjoying it. It was absolutely fantastic. When my wife and I came here in July for one of our recruiting trips, we jumped over to Isle of Palms as well too, and got to see and spend some time on the beach. So yeah, absolutely beautiful. The community is absolutely fantastic. And we couldn't be more excited to be living in the Mount Pleasant area.
And as your role as club president, I just want to get this clear. If somebody lines up to take a free kick and I think it's the wrong guy, I don't complain to you. So I'll have to complain to a coach, and the Battery's got a new coach that'll be in charge of the team this season.
Yeah, I joked that we met with someone today. I said, I'm the brains, he's the looks. And so you can complain to me if you want. But if you did want to talk to Ben Pierman, absolutely fantastic individual. He was the 2022 USL Coach of the Year and an absolute great addition to our organization. Very much of a high character individual, high energy. It's funny because when we were going through the due diligence process with Ben, Rob made the comment that if we put the two of us in a room together, it would combust with the amount of energy that we have. So he's a very much a like for like. We spend a lot of time with each other, and we have high expectations for him and what he is going to build in this organization.
We're so excited. Hopefully Friday, Saturday nights this spring, summer, and fall, you'll be spending some time at Pariots Point, rooting on the black and yellow, the Charleston Battery. We're getting ready for another great season of Battery Soccer. I'm Brian Cleary, joined by the Charleston Battery Club President Lee Cohen here on the Mount Pleasant Podcast. This is where the pages of Mount Pleasant Magazine come alive. One thing I've noticed is you and I have been talking, Lee, the word community keeps coming up into what you're talking about, the fans. The Charleston Battery really is one of those clubs where community does seem to be an important building block of what you guys do.
Yeah. I mean, when you've been here for 30 years, you've touched a lot of different parts of the community. One of the things I find very, very interesting, it doesn't matter where you go, you run into somebody that knows a former player, which is very, very interesting. And I think very special. When you recruit and you bring players into the Charleston metropolitan area, how many of them stay and find other careers when they're done and they're retired and they're working in this environment, working in this community? And so for us, it is important to, when we're bringing individuals into the Charleston Battery organization, that they have an opportunity to have a career path beyond soccer, and they find this as a home. And then how do we tie it all together? How do we help them grow their businesses wherever they're at down the road? Or how do we help them grow their aspirations beyond sport? And so for us, it's really, really unique. 30 years, there's a lot of tentacles that exist beyond the four walls that we have. And I go back to it's not our club. It's the community's club. We're here as a steward of the Charleston metropolitan area, the Low Country, to be able to tell a story.
And the proof is kind of in the pudding in what you say, because the person that's involved and in charge of the community relations with the Battery, John Wilson, he's a guy, you were with Tampa Bay long enough. He was on the field playing against the Rowdies for the Battery, and he's just hung on with the team. And what a great part of the organization and tie to our community that John really is.
Yeah, we actually tried getting John to go play 30 minutes the other day, but he said he needed an hour and a half to warm up for 30. So that was gonna take him out of that optimal window that we could possibly have. Yeah, John is a legend, and he's somebody that when I came into the organization from day one, to figure out how do we utilize him, how do we utilize his experience both on and off the field, and really tie what I would call, the formers back into this club in so many different facets. And It's fun. Johnny's out on the training field every single day now, and so he's kind of got this dual role in the office and being in and about and around the players. Again, as I say, when you're recruiting a player into market, it's one thing to say there's job opportunities that exist within the club afterwards, or players remain in market. It's another thing when you can actually have John out at training every single day, and it really kind of showcases it. He's a great advocate for us as a club. He's also a great advocate for the current players and being able to bridge all that.
Let me ask you about some nuts and bolts soccer thing, because a lot of people who watch soccer will wonder, now, does the Battery have a specific training program so that when one of the guys falls and trips, is there a way you're supposed to roll correctly and yell and just look like you're in pain? Do you help with that? Is that a different...
No, I was actually going to call you up later and see if you wanted to come by.
I'm in.
Some acting 101. It's interesting. We have not got into that yet of the phase of practice yet. The roll, and the roll, and then the roll to see how much we can bait a yellow card or a red card.
And if there's one other thing on that, if you could tell me the contents of the magic spray, as I noticed the trainer will run out and they'll spray, and all of a sudden, boom, that player's back up and at 100%. So that may be a secret that you can't give away as part of this. But
yeah, there's something special in the water, and when it hits the air that is in the low country, it quickly heals our guys. It's funny because then the visiting team, when they come in, there's a different spray for them that we missed in the locker room beforehand, and it really takes that energy out of them. So it's definitely the magic spray. It's I'm 40. And grew up in the Space Jam era, and I remember Michael's Magic Water, and then they all won. So yeah, the magic spray kind of has a little bit of that to it. So
we talked about the community, we talked about the team itself. When you talk about the Battery fans, there's that section, the Regiment. You had to deal with it coming in as the opposing team. What does that mean to you and to the Battery staff, players, to have that loyal group of fans?
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward that they're on my side now, and we don't have to come in here and go against it. But on the flip side, love the energy that our supporters bring every single week in and week out. Yeah, you may have heard what I've said this before, and I apologize. Ben's heard me say this quite a bit. And we do it for two groups as an organization. We do it for the players to be able to provide them a professional atmosphere to be able to go after their dreams. And we do it for the Regiment and our supporters that want to just absolutely destroy us on Reddit after we've lost our first game of the year. So for us, we do it to provide an atmosphere for them to come in. And the funny part is some of these guys they're lawyers on Monday through Friday, and on Saturday they're hooligans inside the stands. So it's really unique. It's really fun. They bring so much that the boys can help feel and it really get behind.
So let's look at the season coming ahead. I want to come out to some games. Are season tickets still available for this year's Charleston Battery?
Yeah, they are. We have season tickets. We have great opportunities for groups in the hospitality spaces that we have. They're very, very affordable. And it's just, to me, what I would say, if you can't buy a season ticket, we have mini game plans. If you can't buy a mini game plan, there's flex plans. There's really something for everybody to be able to come and purchase and get into the stadium. Get in once. And I promise you, you will want to come back again.
And you mentioned the price. That's one of the things I love about going to Battery games. A family of four, it's really, if you go to one game, it is really very affordable. You guys have kept your ticket prices very, very reasonable.
Yeah, I always say too, for a family to come in, you come into the stadium in a very affordable night, have something to eat, and it's a night out. Whether you're a family or whether you have a babysitter for the night, where can you park, come to a game, get a drink, get whatever food you want, and be out. And if you want to go back downtown, within 4 hours, you can do a bunch of different things. So very, very affordable and very good entertainment value.
So the home opener is on March 11th. This will be against a club that we've never played before. Is that correct?
That is correct. The Phoenix group has been a top-notch organization for many, many years. They're going through a little bit of a rebuild themselves. First time they hadn't made the playoffs in quite some time. But for all intents and purposes, they've been a juggernaut of the USL for I would say 5 out of the last 6 years.
So Lee, run me through this as we wrap up. So I'm going to come out to a Saturday night game at Patriots Point to see the Battery. Ideally, what do you think I'll expect? And so tell me, I should get there at what time? Matches will start at. Run me through how I should bring my family in to enjoy this year's Charleston Battery team.
So kickoffs are at 7:30. For the most part, most of our gates open an hour beforehand for the opener because we expect everyone to get there nice and early and want to partake in all the festivities that we have going in and around the stadium. Gates will open at 6 o'clock. I always say, come downtown or come down to Patriots Point. There's plenty of places you can tailgate. You can sit in the parking lot for a couple hours beforehand, socialize, have fun, play the parking lot tailgate games from the cornhole to the soccer, kick the ball around. And what I would say is enjoy what is going to be the start of a very, very exciting year. When you get inside the stadium, we'll have great keys, playing music, bands every single weekend, good food, good friends, good family, good football.
A new coach? We'll soon drop the new from the president title, but we'll say for now, new president. So big expectations. It's just going to be, we're feeling good about this year, 2023 season for the Charleston Battery.
100%. 100%. We are a rebuild, and we have a lot of good key individuals that are coming back from the previous year with key acquisitions that we made this offseason. Our expectations are playoffs every year. That is 100% our expectations. Get in the dance and then see where you can go.
So that means I'm hoping to see a game in late October, early November at Patriots Point. That'll mean big things this year.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, that's our goal. Our goal is to make this community proud on and off the field, and proud of those 11 individuals that step onto that field for 90 minutes, that we are a true resembling low country, hardworking. We're going to grind all the way to the end with high energy and excitement.
Looking forward to fun all this season at Patriots Point. Go to charlestonbattery.com, get the whole schedule there. That's where you can order some tickets and find out a lot of big information about this year's 2023 Charleston Battery team. We're getting ready for Friday and Saturday nights at Patriot Point. The club president of the Charleston Battery, Lee Cohen, thanks so much for your time today.
Yeah, thank you. Look forward to seeing everyone and meeting everyone out here at Patriots Point.
Mount Pleasant Magazine and the Mount Pleasant Podcast, we're proud to be supporters of your Charleston Battery.
Thanks for spending your time with the Mount Pleasant Podcast, your community, your podcast. Listen to past and future episodes at mountpleasantpodcast.com.